I think they're going to start caring when they see their revenues. Like just the one decision I made cost that state $10 million a year in property taxes. If you look at the 25,000 people that have left the state, that's probably costing them $3 to $5 billion a year in income tax revenue. So if people keep voting with their feet, there'll be a moment where New York City and California and all that comes back because somebody will get in there and be a new sheriff. But it's going to take a lot of fed up people, man.
It's a crazy world, crazy world. Somebody's gotta have to save you. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. Somebody's gotta have to save you.
All right, joining me today is a real estate mogul, industry disruptor, and founder of Cardone Capital, Grant Cardone. Welcome.
Great to be here on the Rubin Report.
I am
Who
happy.
are we reporting on today, Dave?
We will report on all sorts of stuff. You were very impressed by my teleprompter, which I do not use for the interviews themselves.
Yeah.
This is just
this
is just us
me,
going.
you, and your followers.
And the team here.
Big fan, by the way, of what you're doing and getting the word out and having people, have other viewpoints and being courageous in the marketplace. I was just telling you, I left Dubai in the UAE, and you think, because of what we're told by CNN and even Fox, that they don't have no freedoms over there. They have so many freedoms there that we don't have here, that we're losing, that I was just really excited to be here and see if we could revive the nation.
Let's see if we can do it. And likewise, I'm a big fan of yours, and I'm excited, I said this year, just to not have to do total politics today, because I really do like talking about business and success. I've had a pretty good track record on some things. Maybe you can point me in the right direction on some upcoming things. But why don't we start, because you are in the midst of a little
Well, let me just say on the politics thing, right? The only time I get interested in politics is when it starts hurting me personally and my finances. And that's why I have become very political in the last couple years, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 3.5 years exactly.
You're probably not the only one like that in your world, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine you now see all these tech guys and VC guys that were very apolitical, leaned a little left, and they're all kind of breaking towards Trump. So there really has been a shift in that sense.
Yeah, because it's starting to affect my finances, right? We were in New York City. We were actually looking at buying $500 million worth of real estate in New York City in February when they put the judgment on Trump. And we were flying back from, I think I was in Colorado, flying back to Miami. And my wife's like, you need to start a GoFundMe account for Donald Trump. And I'm like, no, I need to pull out of all these New York deals. You start the GoFundMe account. She did. And we pulled out of those deals about $500 million, have since placed it in Fort Lauderdale and Miami, just because of that judgment. Now you can see today what they're doing with the mayor. They eat their own.
Yeah. So you're a little north of me in Miami, and this place is blowing. Well, let's do the political part for a little bit before we get into your current Twitter fight, which is super interesting. You're here in Miami. You're clearly bringing business down here. Everyone is bringing business down here. It seems to me Miami and Florida in general is doing everything right. Is that pretty much fair to say?
I don't know if they're
not just Miami. I mean, Fort Lauderdale, the whole state seems to be doing it right.
I take the view that we're not doing everything right. They're doing everything wrong. So we left California 13 years ago, and this was before it was popular to come here. I wasn't thinking about Florida. I just sold my house in LA because they had raised taxes from 10 to 13.3. Yeah. It was a 33% increase. And I said, man, I'm leaving. They're like, over 3 points? I'm like, it's not 3 points, dude. It's 33%. Mm-hmm. And the roads aren't better. Schools aren't better. The hospitals aren't better. Most of this money's going to crazy stuff that I don't want to support. This 13, 14 years ago,
so
right?
You were really in on seeing that early.
Oh, yeah. I saw it way early.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I said, they're not going to stop here. It will continue. Well, in 13 years, man, California is just degraded. Now this thing has started. They say it all starts in California. Went to Illinois. Now it went to New York City, New Jersey. All that's happening. And I think that while Florida may be doing some things right, the reality is these cities are just making terrible decisions, affecting family values, property values, businesses, and be able to invest in my business, and it's pushing people down here.
Do you think they realize it and or care? So you certainly were not the only person once they had that judgment on Trump that were like, okay, I'm done doing business here. Mr. Wonderful has been talking about it quite a bit, and plenty of other people. Do you think they even care or realize, or when Gavin Newsom publicly celebrates when Elon's like, okay, I'm taking Twitter out of San Francisco, it's like, come on, man.
I think they're going to start caring when they see their revenues. Like just the one decision I made cost that state $10 million a year in property taxes. If you look at the 25,000 people that have left the state, that's probably costing them $3 to $5 billion a year in income tax revenue. So if people keep voting with their feet, there'll be a moment where New York City and California and all that comes back, because somebody will get in there and be a new sheriff. But it's going to take a lot of fed up people, man.
Do you want to be one of those people? Like when it hits whatever that rock bottom is, nobody knows what that rock bottom is.
Yeah, dude. Yes, I want to go in there and consume, those are moments.
Yeah.
So like I still shop those markets to see where they're at. Like we were in California last week trying to go back and enter that market because they're phenomenal markets. New York City is a phenomenal city. Don't confuse it with the politics. As a real estate investment city, it's phenomenal, worldwide phenomenal. We were in the UAE. I'm looking at entering there at some point. It's too hot right now, but at some point they'll overbuild it. It'll correct. We'll go in there and be robber barons.
What do you make of the fact that in New York City, in Los Angeles right now, despite the amount of people that are leaving, that homes, condos, et cetera, still are crazily expensive?
Well, that's what makes it a great real estate market. The barriers to entry, you can't build there, you can't add product. This Kamala, whatever, talking about building 3 million homes. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
She's going to give everybody $25,000.
That's even
problem,
worse.
Right?
That'll crash the housing market.
Yeah.
That'll be.
Can you explain that a little bit? Yeah.
Well, first of all, her saying she's going to give $25,000 has only delayed everybody actually making a decision. Mm-hmm. Mortgage applications, even though we had a little spike in the last week, is still lower today than it was in 2008 during the greatest housing bust in the history of this country. Mm-hmm. So when she said, hey, we're going to give $25,000 away, anybody who was thinking about buying a house said, okay, I'll wait until you do the thing.
Right.
She should have done it. Okay. She's literally going to cause housing to become a disaster in this country. Because if Jared was interested in buying, he's going like, I'm going to wait till the first time buyer's credit. I can get it later. So I'll wait until February or March of next year.
Right. And also the builder might be like, well, I'm going to charge $25,000
Dude, the
more.
builder is not going to charge $25,000 more. Dave, the builder is going to be like, okay, I can charge $75,000 more. Okay. Because the 25 will be applied to the purchase. I can get more. The guys, so it's going to immediately inflate the cost of housing across the country. Her idea that she's going to build 3 million homes when there's 4.2 million homes short. Well, I'm like, somebody should be asking them, well, who gets them? Who gets the home? Who's going to build the homes? How's anybody going to afford the home? Because the interest rates are still too high.
So talk about the interest rates a little bit. I guess we will. I guess this is all going to be connected to politics one way or another. I was going to try to work around politics, but to me,
you can't. But you can anymore.
Yeah,
they're all sitting at the same dinner table.
Yeah,
unfortunately, my house, my business, how I hire people. Who I let rent in my properties. Can I even get them to leave if they're a bad actor? We have 15,000 apartments. Most of it's in Florida. And 15,000 people, you're going to end up with people that don't pay their bills or act, do dumb stuff. And I got to get them off the property.
Here you can do that.
You can do it here. In 30 days, I can have you out. In 45 days, without going through a big eviction or legal process, I can have you out of the property. We don't want to evict people. Mm-hmm.
No, of course.
We accepted their lease. We want them as a resident. But I have to protect the rest of the people in the property. California, dude, if the temperature is a certain degrees in California and the judge said you're evicted, same thing in New York, that person can go to court that day and say it's too cold or it's raining today. This is true, man. Yeah. Okay. Or, hey, my baby's sick. So the eviction process then gets extended. So I could be 8-9 months trying to get somebody out, spending more in legal fees, while the whole time I didn't even get to collect the rents.
How about the squatter stuff? I mean,
the squatters,
you don't even have to be a renter.
Dude, how about the illegal immigrants? There's people in New York City. I know this. I know a guy that owns a bunch of slumlord stuff. We don't do that. We do high-end real estate. But And he is turning basements into like dormitories where he's getting $200 a bed and there's 40 people down there.
For more insightful discussions on how to live the good life, check out our lifestyle playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.